speak on those dear platform. I thank you for the privilege as well to speak in this capacity. During this period of COVID-19, I would like to convey my condolences for those who have lost someone. And for those who have died, we pray that they will find rest. We pray for those who are sick that they may find healing. And many of us who are under lockdown, which is an unusual sequence of events, we also pray for the grace to endure the moment. And so the title of my presentation, as you can see from the PPT, is Application of SPSS in Research in Philosophy and Religion. The outline of my presentation will be, first, to understand what SPSS means. This will be followed by an understanding of philosophy and religion. To be followed by application of SPSS in philosophy and religion. And that will bring us to the end of our discussion on the application of SPSS in philosophy and religion, precisely research in philosophy and religion. A cursory glance at the historical development of thought reveals that right from the very beginning, especially when philosophy overtook religion as the basis of thinking, thinkers have been concerned about that which is the unity in the midst of the plurality of things. Thinkers have been concerned about that which is permanent in the midst of change. They have been concerned about that which is the underlying principle of reality. That which is in everything, the unity of things. And that is why right from the very beginning, Thales, when he was responding to the question of that which is the principle of reality, he said the principle of reality is water. And then followed by Anaximander, who had argued that the principle of reality is the indeterminate element. And in this case, he speaks of the indeterminate element as that which is the unity of all the pluralities we find in reality, and that which is permanent in the midst of the changes we find in reality. Anaximander speaks of air, that everything possesses air, or everything contains air. Then Heraclitus talks about fire, that everything contains fire. And very important to our discussion today is Pythagoras' position. Pythagoras says that everything is about number. He says that number is the unity of reality in terms of its plurality, and that number is that which remains permanent in the midst of the changes that we find in reality. And if number is at the center of reality, it then means that our discussion today on the application of SPSS in the study of philosophy and religion is indispensable, or will I say is important. If you look further, you see that there are different quotations that we take from Heraclitus. And one of those quotations from Heraclitus is that number is the ruler of forms and the ideas and the cause of gods and demons. It is the ruler of forms. When we talk about forms in philosophy, we mean that which is the real reality. The forms of things is different from things as they appear. And what Heraclitus is saying is that number is at the heart of reality itself. He goes on to say that number is the within of all things. And when he says that number is the within of all things, he means that there is nothing without number, and there can't be anything without number, because everything contains number. He speaks of number as the structure of reality that exists, and that is why he says it is the within of all things. He says that God built the universe on numbers, and this is very important. If God has built the universe on numbers, it then means that we who use numbers in terms of application, in terms of analysis, numbers now become our own delegates in the governance of the universe, which means your ability to understand number, your ability to appreciate number, your ability to be analytical within the context of number gives you some kind of edge in the governance of the universe. So the idea of numbers in Pythagoras is very important for our own study today. It means that there is nothing without number, and there is no aspect of study that you are going to engage in without number, if number is the within of all things, as we find in Pythagoras. If you understand numbers, then you have understood the universe, then you have understood the structure of the world, then you have understood the best way to relate with the universe. And so when you deal with physics, you find numbers. When you deal with biology, you find numbers. When you deal with chemistry, there are numbers. When you deal even with philosophy and religion, which is the area of our concern, you discover that numbers are also applicable. In spite of the fact that philosophy and religion are more about ideas and not about numbers, but even within that context, then there is also the ability, or there is the possibility of bringing in numbers into philosophy and religion. And this is actually why we are trying to study the applicability of SPSS within the context of philosophy and religion. Under normal circumstances, no one will expect that SPSS can be applicable in the study of philosophy and religion. But this brings us into a new understanding of of philosophy and religion within the context of research, how SPSS can be applied. First of all, just a brief understanding of SPSS. I know that other speakers must have talked to you majorly about it, but a few words on SPSS. SPSS really means Statistical Package for Social Sciences. Statistical Package for Social Sciences, produced in 1922, and but was taken over in 2009 by IBM, an international business machine organization concerned about the production of computers and all that. And so with the acquisition of SPSS by IBM, the name SPSS no longer becomes the name as such. It is now called originally, or will I say, it is now called basically IBM SPSS Statistics, immediately after the acquisition in 2009 by IBM. So what is SPSS about? What does it do? It is a software for statistical analysis used in social sciences. Social sciences like psychology, sociology, medical services, and other areas within the context of social sciences. Originally, that was the area of concern. And the beauty of SPSS is that it helps you in the analysis of data. SPSS helps you in interacting with the data which you encounter during the process of research. And it helps you to handle statistics. The beauty of it is that it also helps you to check the consistency of the instruments and the data which you have collected. SPSS makes calculation, or it makes analysis of data easy for you. And with it, you can achieve more within a short period of time. But there are also weaknesses to SPSS, which several scholars have tried to complain about. And the first of all is that it makes research too easy. And then secondly, it promotes laziness, according to some researchers. It makes research very easy, and then it promotes laziness among researchers. But that is just a perspective. That does not mean that this is exactly what it is. But this gives us, however, this gives us a very clear or a good understanding of SPSS as we progress in our application of this software to the study of religion and philosophy. And before we go on to see how this is applicable in the study of philosophy and religion, it will also be good to understand just in a little way what philosophy is. What is philosophy? Or what is religion? First of all, philosophy is from two Greek words, philo, which is love, and sophia, which is wisdom. And so philosophy simply means the love of wisdom. And because of this understanding of philosophy as the love of wisdom, Pythagoras understands philosophy and philosophers as the highest achievement of the human person.